Hey everyone, how are you? If you don't know who I am, I'm Carol J. Dunlop, the online wild strategist. I will introduce myself in a minute. And if you're wondering who this other person is over here, who are you, person?
This person over here is Denise Renee. And I hate to be like bullish, but Denise Renee is just my first name. It's a double first name. So a lot of times people think it's a first and last, and they're like, "Hey, Denise." I'm like, "No, ma'am. No, sorry. It's Denise Renee." I am a writing coach and editor.
All right. You know who you remind me of when you say that? Lisa Ray.
Lisa Ray. Okay.
Yeah, Lisa Ray. And I remember when she first came out, she said, "Yeah, it's one name. Don't be trying to give me two names. It's one name, Lisa Ray, because
I ain't
everybody wanted."
Lisa. I'm
Yeah,
Lisa Ray.
there you go. And Denise Renee will tell you that it is a double first name, but it's her name. It is her name, and we respect people, especially nowadays when people are having such issues with pronouns and who you are and all that. I'm not going to say either way, one or the other, but what I am saying is be who you are because everyone else is taken. How about that?
How about that?
But we have to respect people because I don't think we've ever been through anything like this. Not in my lifetime, anyway. I'm of the lifetime where people are squirreling stuff away in the corners and not talking about stuff.
That's true.
Which brings us to what we're doing now, because Denise Renee and I are doing this fabulous collaboration because guess what? Y'all need to know what she knows about copywriting, really. And I've heard people sing about how awesome you are, how much you understand what they need. Even a couple of my previous clients who come back and stuff, they went to you and they just can't stop talking about you, namely June Klein. So it's one of those things where your reputation, your good and awesome reputation, precedes you. And so
it's really nice to hear. I don't hear that often. So thank you so much for sharing that. No, honestly, like sometimes, you feel, I feel like I'm just working in a void. I'm just like doing whatever. And I don't always get the feedback that, I just don't always get feedback. So when I get it back in this way, it's really appreciated. So thank you so much for sharing that.
You're quite welcome. Just know that you are loved and people love your work as well. So me being a web designer and really I call myself an online wild strategist, because when you go to the websites that I produce for my clients, I want you to say, wow, oh my gosh, really? I want to evoke that feeling of awesomeness and like empowerment and like they know exactly who I am. So that's my thing in the world. To catch you up and let you know how this all came about, Denise Renee and I have known each other for a while, but we've never done a collab together. And we've been talking about it. We were saying, we need to do something. We need to do something because I design websites and she does copywriting and amazing other things around writing, which we're going to talk about. So I said, let's do a collab. Let's get together because, what is it? A rising tide lifts all boats. There's no competition. There's only people that you need to get to know better. Exactly. And so I'm taking this chance and this opportunity today to get to know you better and for y'all to get to know us, because you never know when you're going to need a web designer or a writing coach, an editor in your life. And at least you can say, I know somebody. So Denise Renee, why don't you start us off and tell us a little bit about you, what you want us to know about you?
Man, there's so much.
I know, so much awesomeness.
There's so much awesomeness. But essentially, if you go to my Instagram page, right, this is what I say about myself.
Which I'm ready.
I help people growing their personal or business brand, write books, and create content that makes an impact. And why do I have to read this? Because my page, which is at Writing with Denise Renee, is pretty much brand new. I just recently implemented new branding for myself. I've always loved reading and writing. I started writing short stories when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was always in honors English. One of my majors in college was English. Right after college, I started as a English teacher, high school, back in New York, in the Bronx, the BX. So, I did not like the administrative craziness that goes on in school systems. So after 3 years, I was like, we gotta go. So as my career kind of progressed, in 2014, I started freelance writing business. I started by writing resumes for people. And in 2017, I decided to jump ship with no safety net into growing my business. Had I not done it, like, I just wouldn't be here, right? And I didn't know what I didn't know, but I was bold enough to try. So over the course of the last, almost decade, so I've gone from being known for doing resumes into doing general copywriting for people, social media content. And then what was happening is I was networking with a lot of business owners, and people were participating in these book anthologies and writing books and things like that. And I would support the books, and then I'd read them and I'd be like,
Yeah.
you didn't, but I didn't want to be disrespectful to people, but I was like, dang, I could have helped you with this and, really made you sound really good. And I was like, well, you couldn't have helped them with it because they didn't know that you could do that. Right. So I started letting people know that I can help you with your books. So I started off by offering ghost writing services, did that for a little bit, and realized that that's not really where I wanted to put my energies. So I've morphed into book writing coaching and editing. I did take a little bit of time off and to pull back. Sometimes you need to just pull back, reset, and decide, where am I going? What do I want to do? How do I want to do it? So I figured it all out and decided to come on back out and rebranded with the Writing with Denise Renee brand. And basically that just encompasses all the different types of writing that I do, because last month I actually did a resume for someone. So, and sometimes people, they remember me for different parts of my writing career. So I'm like, let's just let people know that I do it all. And there it is. So that's where I am at this point in time. And that's why my tagline is still kind of new and it's not quite memorized just yet.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I think what you just said is a testament to really just getting out there, trying it, see if it works. If you like it, if you don't, you keep going. If not, you do something else. We've all had, I don't think there's a straight line to success. I think the line goes this way, sometimes off the board, comes down, goes around until at some point you say, okay, I'm in the right space. And I have to, I have great respect for that, because I went on a similar journey in 2016. I was, on the one hand, a personal trainer, which may have been right around the time that we met you, that I met you. I was a personal trainer on one hand, had a successful business, loved doing it. On the other hand, a web designer. The fault was mine, really, because I didn't know who I wanted to serve, what they wanted, how I could showcase it. I just knew I could do a website. So when you go out to anybody and everybody, you get anybody and everybody. And the people that came in had champagne tastes and beer budgets. So when they tell me what they wanted, I would say, yeah, we can do this, and it is going to be this much. And they're like, oh my God, I can't pay that. Why are you charging so much for this stuff? And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the people that I would like to work with. I would like to work with someone that says I can do this, this, and this, give them the price.
And they say, that's it.
Yes, that's one thing. The other thing I tell them is, right when I say the price, which card do you want to put that on, so they can tell me how they're going to charge this thing and or pay for it or whatever, And I've been very successful since I was able to come back. But in 2016, which was a pivotal moment for me, I went to this conference here in Atlanta, and I was able to introduce myself. And I said, my thing is, I want to market my businesses better. And she's like, what businesses? And of course, I told her, personal trainer, web designer, have nothing to do with each other. Before she said anything, she was like, one thing you need to do is decide on one business. I don't care which one, pick it, go with it, make it successful. Then if you want to, you can bring the other one back in, but just one, that's it. Right. Needless to say, I was like, oh, that wasn't what I was looking for.
I didn't come here for this.
Yeah, I didn't come here for this right here. But that was a great thing. God always gives us things when we don't think that we need them and presents us to them right in our face. And we're looking for the sign to help us. And he was like, here it is right here. Yes. So that's what happened. So I decided that at that time, it was a good decision at the time. I didn't want to do the personal training anymore and be an online personal trainer. I was like, and my husband always wanted me to be really, really into our or design business, I was like, well, here's the time. Let me just do this
Yes.
head first. Did it. I got together with two colleagues of mine right after making that decision. We launched this program called Write Books That Sell Now to the tune of $14,000 in our
Nice.
launch. So I was like, okay, maybe this is a place I need to be. I'm good. And then all this time later, I'm still doing that. I have not picked back up the personal training thing, but I went back into website design, learned who I needed to talk to, what they wanted, what their biggest problem was, and how I could solve it. And now, we've been going headstrong on that, so much so that I added marketing to what we do with websites and some book writing and stuff like that. But even though, Denise Renee, you and I do similar stuff, we are not competitors, because I do the books and things for my clients, who are also web design clients, in a way that's different from the people that come to you, or they could even be the same people. But like I said, there's enough for everybody. Let's all grab a piece of this big old pie.
There really is. There really is. Because everyone is not going to care to work with me. Everyone's not going to care to work with you or anybody else.
Yeah.
So there's enough. I mean, ultimately, really, when you run the numbers in your business, you really don't need 1,000 million people. You probably need like 20 people to work with every year, and you're good.
Yes.
So, it's all good. But there's something that you did say earlier about success, and you said success is not necessarily a straight line. It can be rather curvy. It's really interesting because recently I redefined success for myself, and I'm like, you know what? Success for me is not about the results, right? That are accomplished. Success for me is that I still want to get up every morning, and I still want to do what it is that I want to do. And that I'm doing what it is that I should be doing. As long as I do what I'm supposed to be doing, results will take care of themselves. Like if you plant the right seeds, you will get the harvest that the seeds you planted, are supposed to yield. So just wanted to, share that, because sometimes, especially as women, we can get really down, like, well, I've kind of taken this, different path. And I'm like, I realize that, like I said earlier, I didn't know what I didn't know by jumping out from my job. And I would not have known had I not done so. So I had to learn things along the way, and the experiences brought me to where I am. And I'm like, you know what? I mean, I'm here, right? I'm here.
I feel that same way. I'm here. I'm doing this. I might not have been doing this, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but all in all, we've had this company for 30 years. So I do know a little bit of something. But we do want to give you some educational value for being here, because, we're all busy, and we need to learn stuff that's going to help us moving forward. And that's exactly what Denise Renee and I are going to do. So I'm going to start out first with kind of interviewing Denise Renee, and guess what we're going to be talking about in this? Doing your own copywriting. Oh my God, scare me to death, make my heart just pound. I'm like, how can I do this? I got this website. I need all this copy, because a website without copy does not exist. You have
pretty pictures. That's all.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So what is the first thing that someone who is, kind of DIYing their website, and they don't want to hire a copywriter, or they want to take it on for themselves, and either they're doing the website themselves, or even they're giving the copy to a web designer, because most web designers are not copywriters. You need to know what to look for. So help us out, Denise Renee. We need your help.
Well, first, there is one thing that you said that made me go, where somebody doesn't want to hire a copywriter. I would really caution that person if you don't want to. That could be different from, I want to hire a copywriter, but I don't have the budget, right? If that's you, that's cool. But if you don't want to hire a copywriter, you don't want to make money on your website.
Exactly.
Right? Because a lot of what I found, and this is part of what had me kind of shift towards books a couple years ago. I was finding that a lot of people didn't understand what copywriting was. And then once they realized, once I gave them the education as to what it is and what it can do for you, then they were like, well, how much does that cost? And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're running out the door. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I am obviously not talking to the right clientele here.
Exactly.
And, you know, and like what you said earlier, going over to the wrong people, you're going to get, you know, negative client experiences.
Mhm.
It is so important to talk to an educated, what was it, Sims? An educated consumer is the best customer.
Yes.
It really is. So here's the thing, copywriting, if you're not aware, you're not sure what it is. Copywriting is basically all of the words that you see in any type of marketing, branding, advertising. It's called copy. So headlines on a newspaper or in a magazine, when you go to, like, my favorite place to look at headlines is when I'm at Kroger or Publix and I'm looking at the what you call it,
The magazine section.
tabloids. Child, those
Tabloids, yes. Yes.
headlines
Yes.
begin with like, what? Who? They said what? They did what?
I know. I
And
know.
you're gonna pick it up and start reading,
Mhm.
right? That right there is the power of great copy. It
Mhm.
gets you interested in finding out more about whatever it is you're looking for.
Right.
Copy is in everything. So even in you, if you're a video marketer, uh, it's in your videos, it's in your hooks, it's in your email
Right.
subject lines, what you said, how you structure even a video script. I can go on and on. But bringing it back down to your website, you really want to give the visitors to your website an experience, and you have to know what the end result is. So, me and my marketing brain, my thing for a website is to either, you have to decide whether you are either just giving information, or if you are really trying to get conversions from your website. So you want someone to move from being just a casual viewer of your website to actually taking an action. That action might be getting onto your email list. That action might be booking a consultation with you. That action might be buying something, you know, that you have for sale, if it's an e-commerce site. So the words that you use on your site are going to either motivate the right customer. If you've attracted that
Mhm.
right customer to your website, it's either going to motivate them to take the action, the desired actions that you want to, or it's going to let somebody know, you know what, this is not exactly what I want or need. I'm out of here.
Right.
And that's fine too, right? So
Mhm.
you want the clients that you want your pre-qualified clients, and the ones who are not, you know, meant to work with you. Bye, bye, bye.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yes.
got a little in sync action going on there. So
Yeah.
that's copy in a nutshell.
Mhm. A big
So
nutshell, but a nutshell.
in a big
in
nutshell.
class.
So I think you asked the question, how do we get started? Well,
Yeah.
number one is understanding what copy is and what it
Mhm.
can do for you.
Mhm.
Number two, you have to establish a strategy. And, you know, like I mentioned earlier, what is the goal of your copy on your website? I mean, and I had to decide that for myself in redesigning my website, or redesigning my new website. Like, my old website was very focused on, you know, trying to get somebody onto my email list, and it was all very book focused.
Right.
But now, because what I've decided to do with my brand is kind of make it more of an umbrella writing brand.
Mhm.
So my website is more informational, and it gives people the opportunity to kind of go down whichever rabbit hole they want to go down.
Okay.
And so once they go down a rabbit hole, then they are presented with something that will get them to take action. Either they're going to, you know, drop in their email address, or they're going to try to book a call, or they're going to try to get more information. I have a form on that page or something like that. So you have to decide what your strategy for your website is going to be. Do you have like just one main service or product that you are focusing your audience through, or do you have an umbrella or a range? So decide what your strategy for your website is going to be. I would say, in the case of where you're kind of giving an umbrella informational type of website, then you want to heavily make use of landing pages, so that when you're marketing, let's say at the end of the video, you're like, hey, you know, want to learn more about this? Download our free thing, you know, at this very specific page on my website.com,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And on
Yes.
that landing page has no navigation for anything else. It's just that one free thing, and the only thing they can do on that page is drop in their email address so that they can download, and now they're on your email list and you can communicate with them later. So if you're going to be informational, then you have to be very intentional about using landing pages and having lead magnets out there working for you.
And I wanted to say one thing before you go forward, because I love what you just said. I talk about that all the time, using those landing pages. And if you haven't, not even a Facebook ad, but a Facebook post, an Instagram reel or something, and you put a link out there, putting a link to your entire website, the homepage of your website, you just lost money, lost time, wasted it. They have to go to a single page that addresses only what you just told them about. Because why? Because when they click, they are interested in that thing you just said. So if you send them to your whole entire website and then they have to remember what it was they were looking for, find what it was they need.
Not doing it.
Click. No, they ain't doing that. They bouncing. Bye. See y'all. Gone out of here. Yeah. So Denise Renee, oh my goodness, I like bow down when you said that, because I was like, hallelujah, let me get up and shout a little bit.
Like I never even sometimes in a situation like this where I'm being interviewed, I give my website, but in every video I'm pointing them to one of my free downloads, and that's it. That's the only link that you're getting, because I want you there. Because here's the thing. You get on my email list, you get my free thing, you get on my email list, and then I get to email you once a week. And if I want to direct you to something else on my website, I do, because I put links in my newsletters pointing people, oh, go check this out. Oh, go check that out.
Right.
Okay. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to determine when you're establishing your content strategy, there's just a couple of things that you need to work through. Some of them include understanding what your content pillars are going to be, what your main keywords that you want to go for are going to be, how often and frequently, you want to definitely include a blog on your website. Like, you don't just want to have a static, 5 pages that never changes for 10 years. Google will never call you. They'll be like, yeah, okay, that's probably a dead website. But if you have a blog, if you have a
fresh
blog,
content, fresh content is always best. Fresh. Yeah.
So you need to know how frequently you're going to post, once a week, once a day, whatever your frequency is. And the most importantly, you want to know what your KPIs are going to be. So your key performance indicators. So what are you measuring? How are you determining whether your website is successful or not, or the results that you want to see? Are you looking for X amount of visitors every month? Are you looking for X amount of people who are getting onto your email list a month? Are you looking for X amount of bookings a month? Setting up a consultation. Yeah. What are the things that you want to measure as a result of having a website? Because you don't want it just to sit there and look pretty. That's cool. But if no one ever clicks on anything, if no one ever, makes an appointment, no one ever talks to you, you don't have any appointments, then you just have a really expensive hobby.
Yes, you do. I always say,
if it ain't making money, it ain't making sense.
Yeah, I love that one. I always say all the pretty websites in the world don't mean a doggone thing if nobody sees it. We got to get.
Or if they're not taking action on it.
Yeah, take action.
But they bounce in 3 seconds and they never did anything.
Yeah, and the copy is, it's all about your presentation on the website, how it looks. We're going to get into that when I talk about what authors need to do. But you just hit so many nails on the head that when you were talking, I was like, yes,
listen, the guns are loaded.
yes, gunshots fired. I hate to even say that, but that's what it is. And the copy that you put on your website that people can read with their eyes, they can maybe listen to, because you maybe have an audio or a podcast or something on there, or they can watch you in videos that you put on your site. All that is getting them in more to you, so they want to know more about you. And it's what you said is so true. Anything that you look at, it has some copywriting. Anything that's for sale, anything that has a box, even that writing on the box, that's selling, that's copy, that's selling something. And so you have to understand what it is and how powerful it is. I know I have one client that I had been trying to explain that to for a long time. I was like, when you put a link
I
out
know
there,
this video.
yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes people have to hear something from somebody else's mouth before it like
Right.
sinks in.
Right, because
Okay, you're welcome.
you explained it. Yes, definitely. I've been trying to tell. Do not just put the link. Just drop a link. You know, you got to post. You try and sell something or get somebody. Just drop a link. Ain't nobody clicking on that link. You got to put some words with that link. Why should I want this link? Because lately, in the last, like I would say 5 years or so, people have gotten so guarded with their email addresses, their name, their information. They're guarding stuff. They're not just clicking willy-nilly on anything. You have to explain to them, you need this. These are the results you're going to get. So many other people have done this. They have gotten these results, and you can too. It has to, you know, like you said, wake them up, make them look at it, and understand it really quickly, because you don't have a lot of time. You know, it's not like you got hours.
You got seconds.
Second. There's no dissertation. It has to be. Have you ever gone to a YouTube video, as we're doing a YouTube video right now, and they are rambling on about something else that you don't even care about, but they're supposed to be telling you something, maybe a little bit. No, we're not rambling. We're giving you good information. Y'all just get it right here. But then you just keep skipping and you can't find anything that they're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Even though all the stuff, I totally stand by it. The things that we have said today, you need to know all of this, because you need to build a relationship with the people who are reading your copy, watching your videos, downloading your whatever. They are doing that because they want to build a relationship with you. They know you, they kind of like you, they start to trust you, and guess what? Then they start buying. Yes, honey, they start buying. And I wanted to say that because as women, we need to get over this, like, I don't know if I want to sell. Oh my God, I can't ask somebody to buy. Can I really sell this? Nobody's gonna buy this. Get over all that stuff. Get that out of your mind, because like I said in the beginning, you are it. You are enough. You are the one. That's why you're watching us right now, because we're two women who have gone through a lot of stuff, who have made a lot of changes, who have changed directions, who are successful at what we're doing. No matter how we define success, we are successful at what we're doing, and we want you to be successful at what you're doing. That's why I have Denise Renee on here right now, and that's why I'm on here with her. All right. I think we are almost to the end, so we're going to switch it over a little bit. But there is one main thing that we need to talk about, that everybody's talking about, that we think maybe you come in to take the world or something, and that is AI, which is not going to take over the world. I mean, if it is, it'll be after I'm gone, so we got some time.
She said, "Yeah, I'll be out of here, so you know, y'all can deal with that."
Right, exactly. How do we use AI? Because I've heard so much about AI. I actually use it, but I'm thinking about everyone that's watching. I've heard so much about AI. I haven't used it yet. What I don't know what I'm scared about with it, but I'm scared. That's not what I'm saying. But I totally use it all the time. Actually, I just used it yesterday to create the information that I'm going to talk about on my Friday live session about making websites available for everyone, no matter your ability or disability. So hit us with it.
So AI, people don't realize that AI technology has been around for a while, and
Yes,
some of your favorite websites and tools have been using AI. It just wasn't as popular as when ChatGPT made their rollout almost about a year ago now. It feels like it's been so long, but it's really, when they rolled out ChatGPT 3, I think it was about November of 2022, November, December 2022, and it was like all of a sudden, you know, everybody was aware. But to be honest, there were AI writing tools out in the marketplace for a couple of years, and I had been hearing about it. And sometimes people are afraid because they're like, "Oh, it's going to take my job." There are quite a number of AI copywriting tools. People use ChatGPT and Bard for copywriting assistance.
Right.
I use it too. And the thing is that it's good for when someone doesn't quite know what they're doing. Like if you have not studied copywriting and you don't understand how to structure a headline, how to structure a blog post, how to structure, so that it's engaging and people stay tuned in and get to the end and then take the action that you want. If you don't understand the psychology that goes behind that because you've never studied it before or you're just, kind of new to it,
Right.
these tools can be so helpful in giving you a good head start. I don't think that it absolves you from having your own understanding of the basics. So
Right.
I still encourage people to understand the basics because then when you see, if you ask Bard or ChatGPT, like I like using Bard, if you ask Bard to generate something for you, how do you know if it's good or not? How do you know? Like if you say, Bard, give me 10 headlines for a blog post about this recipe or whatever. How will you be able to pick out really the right one that's going to be the most effective if you don't really kind of understand what headlines should do? So it behooves people to use the tools, make things easier, make things faster. I tend to use AI writing tools to either edit or to maybe I have an idea, I put something in and I'm trying to maybe get some other additional ideas, but I'm usually using it to enhance my original content. I rarely use it to say, hey, give me a blog idea for writing a book. Because I have enough experience and I also have enough people that I have talked to either as clients or as prospects to know what people kind of want to know about. So, I'm not downing the tools, but I'm just saying, it's just not, I don't use it in the creative way, but I do use it in a way to kind of just enhance what I'm already doing. But I will say that last month I did what I call a living blog post and a YouTube video on AI writing tools that are not ChatGPT, because everybody's just talking about ChatGPT.
Yeah, there are a lot more.
So much that's very specifically for writers, whether you're writing fiction or whether you're writing any kind of marketing copy. So I gave 10 alternatives out there. So I gave you one just now, Bard, but there are 9 others that are very specific for writers. So if you're interested in that, I would say go to writingwithdenise.com/AI-writing-tools. And you will access everything that I got for you on that page. And every couple of months, I'm going back and adding more information to that page. So,
hey there, thank you for watching. If this content has been valuable to you, can you do me a favor and subscribe? And if you want to help others get more information about designing their own wow website, you give us a like. That would be awesome. It helps YouTube to spread the word about this channel so that we can help other purpose-driven entrepreneurs just like you. Thanks so much. And now you can return to your regularly scheduled program. I love that. A living blog post. And I want to point out something to you guys. Did you notice what Denise Renee just did?
Let them know.
She told a story, a very captivating story about AI and the tools that she uses. And she says, well, I really like using Bard. I use ChatGPT, but I really like using Bard. And then she goes on to talk about Bard. And then she gives a CTA, which is a call to action. And she says, if you would like to know more about these writing tools, you can go to this link. That is what we're talking about with copywriting that gets results or convert someone just to the listener to, let me go right now and download that. Because I was just thinking that, let me go right now, download that.
writingwithdenise.com/AI-writing-tools.
There we go. There we go. Oh my gosh. And y'all can click on the bottom of this in the description. I will have that link there so you can get to it. Denise Renee, this has been so fun. I know we've stayed on a little longer. I don't know if we're going to do this in part 2 or not, or we'll just do one thing. I know I was interviewing my BFF, Nadine Mullings, and she was talking about working with me and all that. And we kept going on, and I think at 37, and she was like, oh, wow, this is so long. I was like, but we got good stuff. It wound up being almost an hour, a little bit over an hour.
That's
but it
okay.
was such great stuff. And y'all can
Listen,
stick
part
around.
two of the video. That's all.
Yeah, y'all can stick around and get this good stuff because ain't nobody giving
Good,
y'all this
good.
kind of stuff that we're talking about right now and breaking it down for you like this, right? Nobody's doing this stuff. So, Denise Renee, I am ready right now. Shoot me with your questions, hit me, because we're going to be helping. Oh, yes, definitely, because we're going to be helping these authors out here to create an awesome website that not only sells your book, but makes your name get recognized and people know who you are. So hit me. I'm ready. What you got?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All righty. All right, Ms. Carol. All right. So, I work with people who typically want to write a book to either grow their career, grow their personal brands. So basically, they're in the nonfiction space. Although I do have some fiction clients. One of my fiction clients just published her novel this past summer. But for
Awesome.
the most part, I work with business people or professionals, and they want to use that book to, get speaking gigs. They want to go into consulting. Some people want to kind of position themselves for that C-suite role or their next C-suite role.
Right.
Great for politicians, doctors, lawyers, those kinds of people. So we're talking about people who are going to share their expertise, or sometimes they're sharing their story, but it relates to, their career or their business or their brand.
Right.
So sometimes people are thinking, well, all I need, I just need to write this book and that's just it. But I'd love for you to tell us why authors should have their own website.
That is the question. And I love it when people say, well, I'll just write this book and make $1 million and go retire.
You're on Amazon and that's it.
Yeah, there you go. We don't have to do nothing. But the thing is, especially if you're putting your book on Amazon, which is, Amazon's a huge thing. I love Amazon. All my books are on Amazon, but it's Amazon. And there are millions of people who are visiting Amazon. They may or may not find your book. But what about you going, trying to get yourself on a local talk show, on the news, on Good Day Atlanta, or whatever your thing is, or just getting on some podcasts? You can't just tell people, go get my book on Amazon. Because you know what happens with all that stuff that's going on, these things that are flying by, all these books, people get distracted. They're not even going to find your book for one. And if they do, Amazon is saying, hey, if you like this book, you like these other books. So they're always trying to make more money off of you and yourself, because they don't care about you. I'm just going to say they don't care about you.
Nope.
But you having your own website where you promote your book in your space that you control, you are doing what a lot of authors don't do. Because now when the people come to your website that you've directed them to, they can find out more about you. Why did you write this book? What kind of book is this? How is this your first book you've ever written? Or is this a series of books? What did you do before this? They get to like experience your story because your website showcases it. It not only showcases the book, and I'll tell you one thing. Usually when you write one book, you're going to write another one. It's just not like one of those one-hit wonder things, because we can do books so many times over now. You have these ideas. I know I have these ideas about coloring books and journals and regular traditional books and all kind of things that we could do to help our audience. So if you write one book and you put it on Amazon and you don't want a website, well, I'm just sorry for you. But let me just say this, you can do that. But what if you have 2, 3, 4, 5 books? You can't leave it to Amazon to showcase all those books all at once. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Even if you try to make them do it, they may or may not do it. Yes, in that little window. But your website is a place where you can showcase all of your books or any of the books that are upcoming. And you can use your blog, as I like to say, to take a little piece of your brain out and share it with your audience so they can, guess what? Get to know, get to like, get to trust you, and start buying and keep buying from you over and over again. Because in the end, even if we say, no, I don't want to make $1 million, but you'd want to make $1 or $2 or get a couple of followers, it is nothing.
Girl, I want a couple million.
I'm telling you, I want to make money.
I want $1 billion or $2 in there too.
No, I ain't gonna lie, because I like glasses, I like clothes, I like to eat, and I like to live in a house that doesn't rain on me. So I want money. And the main reason that I share things with my audience in book form or however I do it is because I want them to buy it because it is valuable to them. Let me say that again. I want them to buy it because it is valuable to them. I'm not giving them junk. They know the books that I write, the things that I put on my website, how I set it up. They know that it's all valuable information. Hence why we're doing this collaboration today to show you that you need to be valuable. So when you have your website, whether it is just about the one book or all the books, people get to see more about you. They see you, the star, you, the author. And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but when you tell someone that you are the author of a book, they just, oh my God, really? You wrote a book? Because a book is hard. I don't care if it's a journal or low content, high content, whatever. It's hard to do it. So when you say that you've done it, they're like, oh, wow. And then this is my thing. Then telling them that you are a best-selling author, they're like, oh my goodness, what? Their ears are perked. They're immediately thinking that you are an authority, and then they're going to follow you. So where are you going to lead them? To your Amazon page to buy your book? No, you're going to lead them back to the website so they can get more information, get on your email list, and so you can start talking to them and selling them the other stuff that you have in addition to your book.
Hello.
Right?
Well, speaking of that, so what are some of the things that an author should have on their website?
I'm glad you asked that. So number one, you need to have the book there so people can buy it. Talking about the book, why you wrote the book, it can have its own separate page, or the whole website can be dedicated to the book. But you dedicated to the book. But you do need to talk about yourself. So you need an about page that talks about you, why you wrote it, how you wrote it, what was the story behind it. People really get into that stuff.
Yeah, they do.
You also need, you've got the book page. You need a contact page that says, hey, if you want to get in contact with me to find out about other books or get on my list or whatever, this is how you contact me. This is how you find me. I'm on social media. Get all of your contact information. And the most important thing you need to have on that website is your blog. And your blog is what helps people to really get to know you, because you can take your book and each chapter of your book and turn it into maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blogs. You know, I took my first book and turned it into a podcast and a summit, and then another book, which then became a summit and a podcast. So you see how things kind of go round and round and round and round. And those things aren't costing you extra money. The book was like the beginning of the thing. And then now you got this website. Now you're doing this podcast. Now you're doing a summit. You're all over the place. People are thinking like, oh my God, I remember when she wasn't even an author. And now, wow, she's a blah, 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 best-selling author. She does these other things. She's out there in front of people, because when people, the more that people can see you out there in front of them talking the same stuff, you can't talk different things. You got to talk the same stuff, you know, talking the same stuff about how to do this. And you're talking to the similar crowds. People are going to get more respect from you, get more respect for you, and then want to see you more. And they will follow you back to your website to see, hey, what is this person about? And what else can I get from them? I got to get it now.
Right. So what are some mistakes or some no-nos that authors make when creating their author website?
Oh, that is a good question. One of the biggest no-nos is making that website all about you. You. The thing is, people don't care about you. They like you as an author. They're like, okay, you wrote a good book, but they want to know how this book, how your website, how you are going to help them. It's really that station, like what's in it for me, WYFF. Is that what's in it for me? Y'all
WIF.
You know, they're always thinking about what's in it for me. Even if it's a journal, even if you've written a journal, you know, and you're putting a website up for it, they still don't know, why should I buy this journal? What's in it for me? So when they go to your website, they want to know what's in it for me. They don't care that you are a Rhodes Scholar. They don't care that you were appointed by the last president. They don't care about all this stuff. It may be a wow factor, like, oh, but what's that got to do with me? Tell me what you're going to do with me. And a book coach who, you know, Anita Henderson,
okay, yeah,
told me that in the book, in the very beginning, when I started my book, she was like, what do you want people to think, do, or feel once they read your book? So you take that same thing and put it on your website. What do you want them to think, do, or feel? And mainly it's probably going to be the do thing. What do you want them to do? That's why, like illustriously, Denise Renee did this with the call to action that you did, you want to make sure that you give them a call to action. You have to tell people what to do. So if you don't have a call to action anywhere on your site, and a simple call to action would be buy the book, right? But there are other call to actions you could have on other pages, like on your contact page. You may want them to follow me on social media, get in touch with me. And then you have your blog where you have pieces of things that you're giving them. Like my first book, every chapter had like a checklist or a cheat sheet or something that they could get. And guess where they had to get that from? My website. Yes, you go to my website and get this for free.
That's how you build a list. Now that is a gem right there, because, and this is what I'm always telling the authors that I'm coaching, you have to have some kind of lead magnet embedded in your book that gets people out of the pages of your book and onto your email list.
Yes.
It's great that you got $20 from them from the book, but more valuable than that is that little email address, because when you're ready to give out the next book, when you're ready to offer your coaching services, when you're ready to launch this product, you have somewhere to launch it to.
Exactly. Bingo.
So let me ask you this. So for someone who may be doing a DIY website, like they're like, okay, let me get this Wix.com. But like I said, I was like, start somewhere, right? So if they're using some kind of DIY tools, or they're just trying to put it together themselves, maybe they're not at the budget level. Maybe they spend all their money on editing with me, and they got money left over for their website for you.
That is a perfect situation.
Right? So what are some tools that they can use to do a DIY website?
Okay, first thing I will tell you, do not do that W site. Do not do that S site either. You need to do WordPress.
I am a WordPress queen, let me tell you. But anyway, go ahead.
And the reason that I say that is because a lot of these companies say it's easy peasy, drag and drop, quickly. They show, even, a couple of them have commercials, and the person is just sitting there just typing away, and their website is just coming into fruition in front of them. And no, ma'am. You really have to learn that platform. You really do have to learn that platform. As a matter of fact, the last website that I just did was someone who came from the S thing, and I don't want to put them down or anything. They're just not for me. They came from that. Yeah. And they were like, I could not understand whatever was going on. And they came to me and they said, Carol, because I did one of the ladies' websites. Like, I just went to go to my girl, Carol. I know she'll straighten it out. Totally redid the whole website for them. And now they have something functional. WordPress is easy to use. Yes. And you own it. It's not. Yes. And I'm an advocate for keeping control of as much stuff as you can, because I'm going to tell you, if you listen to this platform, if you subscribe to that platform, if you do this thing, you have your intellectual property spread everywhere.
Read those terms and conditions, because some of these sites, they say that they own the stuff that you put on their sites.
Yes. And they can shut you down if you're not doing what they think you should be doing it in the way. What if they can shut you down quick? That's why I like WordPress, and not the WordPress.com. We can go up and open your free WordPress.org, where you can download the software or go
to. You got to pay for a server, honey.
Yes, you got to pay for hosting. Pay for hosting. Somewhere like A2 Hosting, love them. You do have to cough it up. And I like to look at it like this: you cannot operate your business for free. I don't care how you try. It's not going to go very long.
I don't want to tell you how much I pay for hosting and how much I pay for. I have a very marketing theme focused. It's called Thrive Themes. They just hit my bank account a couple days ago, but I'm like, yes, it's worth it.
Yes, Thrive Themes is one of the things that I talk about that you can use. Now, that is not really, it's not cheap. I'm just going to say it's not cheap.
They just hit my bank account the other day. So I was like,
right. You pay for them when you start using them. Now, if you want something like you're not sure, WordPress is the first thing, because WordPress is free. Just find a host like A2 Hosting. They are the bomb, I can tell you. But there are others like HostGator, Bluehost, Greenhost, HostMonster, all kind of hosts. But just make sure that they support WordPress websites.
Mhm.
So just make sure that, and then yes, and then we can go forward. Now, another or a competitor to Thrive Themes is Elementor. And the main difference between Elementor and Thrive Themes is that Elementor has a free version that you can use with templates that are available that you can use as well. So if you're like, I'm doing this bootstrapping all the way myself, their templates are awesome and you can use them, choose the template that you want, and then you can just switch out what you want to put in there. Because I customize stuff for Elementor a lot. I had a client who taught me about Thrive Themes because I had to learn that because that's what he did. So I know about Thrive Themes. They are very, very similar. There are some differences between them. And for a while I was going Thrive, Elementor, Thrive, Elementor. I'm the Elementor girl. Denise Renee is a Thrive girl, but that's okay. They are both
I was with Thrive from years ago. It used to be a bit more, I wouldn't say technical, but it was a bit more difficult to navigate before.
It was more
now their later updates over the last 2-3 years has become easier. And I'm like, but I already know the old way.
Right. But they're easy. They're both easy.
It is easier to use.
Right. WordPress itself is easy to use. It's scalable. I can show you how to use it really quickly. There are only two or three things that you really need to know. So those are the freebie type of easily accessible things that can help you, and Elementor is one of them. Of course, it does have an upgrade to Pro if you want to do that, really get into it, but just get your feet wet, get in there. WordPress, find a host that does WordPress, and you're going to pay anywhere from $10 to $25 a month, depending on the host that you go with. So count on that. And then you have Elementor, which is free. If you want to go up to the upgrade, then that's going to be like, I think $50 or $60 a year to do that. But you can always do Thrive Themes as well. Thrive Themes in itself is a bundle of different products. It's not just one thing. And that's what I liked about them too.
It's
and
very marketing focused.
Yeah,
so
it's very
all
marketing
the things that you need, like landing pages, lead capture, you don't have to buy a bunch of different other programs and plugins. It's all in one thing. And to me, that's why it's worth it for me to pay for it. And people ask me all the time, like, who did your site? I'm like, me. They're like, you did that? I'm like, sure.
Yes, and you can. It's not that you can't do a site. Yes. You can do it.
But you gotta sit down and focus and learn it and do it, and you'll be all right.
You gotta do it the right way, or it's not gonna look good. I'm telling you.
But I mean, I'm a copywriter, so I know what
Yes.
Okay, I've got one final question for you. And I think probably the most important question, and that is, let's say our author has put together their website. This is great. And, they're out there chugging along, doing what they do to promote themselves, promote their book. And so, they're getting their own website traffic, but it's not like droves and droves of people. What can somebody do to put their website in front of the strangers who may be, Googling and searching for stuff? What can they do to attract more people to their website outside of their own personal, one-on-one interactions?
Number one thing they can do is SEO, search engine optimization. And that is scaring people to death. It used to scare people even more. Oh my God, how am I going to optimize my site? But basically, Denise Renee said it. What keywords are you going to use? You have to think about your audience, what they're looking for, what their problem is, and think if they were going to a website. Now you really do have to think, I'm serious. If they're going to a website, what are the words that they're going to put into that browser to get the information they want? And I like to use busy moms who are looking for quick recipes. And that would be, can I find a quick, healthy recipe for I'm a busy mom or something like that? What out of that sentence would they put in there? And then when they put those words in there, what comes up? What do you see? What blogs, what pages, whatever comes up when they put those words in there? So what are your keywords? The first thing is to decide what your keywords are for your business that you're going to use all over the place. And I'll give you a great example. I follow this lady named Stephanie Perry, and she is a house sitter, a Black lady who's a house sitter who bops around the world, and she talks to Black women about escaping the U.S. Now, we're not going to go down that whole road, but that's
what her name is. What my business?
Her name is Stephanie Perry,
I'm
and
following her.
her keyword that she follows is Black expat, Black women expats, I think. But her YouTube channel is Stephanie Perry. But she talks about how Black women can become Black expats and either do house sitting around the world and not work because you're doing house sitting, or how you can escape the United States and go to any country that you want. And she talks about the countries and stuff. So her thing, her thing is Black expat, Black women expats. That's what her keyword is. And she uses it everywhere. And I remember a year ago, she was saying that she's going heavy on that Black women expat. And now I think her channel, her YouTube channel is 150,000 people.
She'll be 150,001 in a second.
Yes, I follow her. They are amazing. And this is to everyone out there, because this is going into the description and all of that. They have this thing called the Exodus Summit that they do once a year, where they have a bunch of expats, Black women expats who come on. And their thing is just for Black women. I'm sorry, white women. I'm sorry, any other kind of man. You cannot get into the group. You have to show a picture, and it's for Black women only. Talk about niching down Black women expats. And they have a lot of information. So you got to think like that. You got to think like, how can I get this community going? Yes, definitely. And those are the words you're going to start with, and putting them on every page on your website, talking about it in everything that you do, making sure that you're putting those words, whatever your words are, whatever they are, your keywords, putting them in and making sure they're throughout your website. What does that do? Google, who is sitting around there, kind of, oh, what website? Oh, this website seems to be talking about whatever this keyword is. Direct like 100,000 people to that site right there. Now, I'm not going to say instantaneously you're going to do that, but the more popular your keyword is, and the least amount of competition, I mean, a lot of people don't know about it, but a lot of people are typing it in, the better off you are in getting people to you. And the more unique you can be, but while still resonating with your audience, that's how you're going to capture those people that you didn't even know about to your website. That was a long answer with greatness included.
Okay, it's long, but it's necessary. So, I mean, yes, we're here to really deliver value to people. So, and I know people really have these questions. It's like, okay, this is great that I have this website, but I need people coming to my website. So yes, this is how you do it. It is through SEO, and SEO, it takes time to develop, but it's like, once you kind of hit your stride, it just kind of takes off exponentially. That's what I'm looking for, exponentially.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you so much for making time to share this information with my audience.
Oh, well, thank you for making time to share this information with my audience. And I almost forgot about the little gift that I have for everyone. So if you really want to know, got to do CTA, y'all. Come on now. We've been talking about it. But if you really want to know how to put a wow website together, which is a wow website, which is what we've been talking about, that greets your ideal client right when they get there. So they think, oh my God, where have you been? Then go to my website, csicorporation.com/planner, and download your free wow website planner and get going on that wow website so you can get some of that SEO juice in your site.
Absolutely.